Shit popping. Yeah, we gotta go to this one. See if this is the right one. This is the illicit therapy one, and I'm live streaming right now. Awesome, awesome sauce. Okay. All right. All right. We are going to do almost like a walkthrough of this game, Callisto Protocol. Have started a new game, so it's brand new, right? Totally brand new, totally new, and I'm just going to kind of walk through what I'm noticing about Callisto Protocol. Listen, a friend of mine told me this is the way to go when it comes to doing podcasts. Actually, I was on Twitter, which is at Sir303, and the O is in 0 instead of a 3. But I've actually looked into this, right, and found out that a lot of people want to have podcasts while you're playing games, I guess. I don't know. I'll do it. I'll do it. So I'm not really mad about that shit. But the story is what's going on 21 Savage and Wise. I'm actually on YouTube streaming the game live and shit like that. And the purpose of this space, right, is to talk about Callisto Protocol, right? Now, I feel like Callisto Protocol, right, because I'm playing it now on the Illicit Therapy YouTube channel. I feel like Callisto Protocol is sorely misunderstood, right? I feel like it's supposed to be, and I think the high production values is what's throwing people off. I feel like people actually, let me turn the volume down a little bit more. I feel like people think that the game is more serious than it actually is, when really it's kind of like a theme park type game. But I'm hearing a lot of vitriol about this game, which doesn't even make sense. You know, people are talking about it's too short because it's a 7 to 10 hour game. We don't even know what difficulty this motherfucker was playing on, but lo and behold, they have a problem. They have a problem with almost everything in this game. It's like kind of weird to me, if you ask me. I don't feel like the game should have this much hate, especially when you have other games that are of a worse quality. I just feel like there's a problem with that, and you let me know on how this is functioning. It's just weird to me. I feel like a couple of reasons why people feel the way that they feel Callisto Protocol is supposed to function, right? Or I'm sorry, the reason why people have the hate that they have for it. A, they discovered that Sony was involved in the development of this game. I feel like that was a big issue. Everyone was hyped for this game. Everybody wanted to, what do you call it? The renaissance of a resurgence of Dead Space. And then when they found out that the actual developers for Dead Space was making their own IP without the shackles of EA or anyone else, everyone was on board. They didn't show anything bad either about Callisto Protocol when we did see the gameplay. It looked really good. Not just graphically, but gameplay wise, it looked similar to Dead Space. And then all of a sudden, they said that 150 developers for Sony came out of nowhere and helped them out. I think they were running like 50 people, right? That was a problem. After that nonsense, everybody went straight on like defense mode and was like, I'll wait. And I was like, that's strange. Now all of a sudden you want to wait for the game to be played? Then all of a sudden the reviews, like, it's weird. If you're in the gaming space, and if you're not a gamer, this is what happens when you're in the gaming space, right? People tend to do this weird thing where Metacritic matters until it doesn't, right? People were using Metacritic as a rubric to see if they were going to pick up the game or not. But then if it's an established IP, then they don't want to use Metacritic, which is kind of weird. They'll say that they're hating on the game. Like, for instance, God of War, people had a problem with God of War. They wanted it to be higher. The same thing with Forbidden West. I don't believe it deserved the 88. It should be better than this. blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. But now you have a new IP and there's a problem with it. Now you guys are taking that. It's a 76 is not a bad score either. It's like almost by extension because Sony is attached to it in some kind of way. People are expecting this game to be of like triple A shit. And to be honest with you, the visuals are triple A shit, right? It's like because of the way the graphics looked on all platforms, the cross-gen narrative was thrown out the window because it looked good on all platforms. Now people that like Microsoft, they couldn't even use it. You know, they had a fucking problem with it. So that was a problem. And then you have Sony developers working on a game, and that's doubly a problem. And then you have Dead Space coming out next year, and then that's a fucking problem because the actual Dead Space is coming out here. Now, these developers are at a crossroads, right? It's at a crossroads because if it was too much like Dead Space, then it would be a problem. All that the game is a reskin Dead Space. If it departs from Dead Space, which this game did, it has enough Dead Spaceness for people that are fans of Dead Space to fuck with, but it also has its own niche, and it's not a psychological horror. It's more like an action survival horror game. Heavy emphasis on action. And people don't like new things apparently, but then they don't like it, and then they do like it. They have a pretty unique melee system, which isn't supposed to be like really heavy, just enough to kind of challenge you. You know what I mean? And people have a problem with that. People have a problem with difficult games until it's a Souls game, apparently, as well. People were saying that this game was difficult, and I think it's not difficult, it's just different. And they don't want to give it the props. You have a lot more mobility in this game as a survival horror game than a lot of other games, such as, well, I would say that the other only one that's kind of like horror would be the Dying Light. So Dying Light is a situation where you have a lot of mobility, but then also you get wrecked as well too. So it's in the middle between that. It's not really Resident Evil. You're not suplexing things. You got a lot of mobility. And you're pretty strong. And I feel like people are taking this game as it's like it's an action game at this point in time. But you can get wrecked easily if you don't know what you're doing. And I feel like the people are trying to play the game, a game that it's not. And as much as people say that they love, difference and new ideas, they really don't. They really don't. And one could argue, okay, well, it's not a new idea. You have to have a good idea, right? If you want it to land. But what if it is a good idea? You know what I mean? What if it's a good idea and you just don't know how to play it? Horizon Forbidden West dealt with that as well. The Horizon Forbidden West is a range combat RPG, and people had a problem with that. They wanted it to be a melee game. And because it wasn't what they wanted, they didn't like it. They crucified the game. They said it was boring because they didn't know how to play it. Going back to subject, right? Because that's the thing. Oh, hold on. Somebody wants to speak. My bad. I don't be looking at the shit, so hold on for a minute. Let me get you in here. I do look at it, but I don't be like looking at it. You feel me? What's going on, bro?
Hey man, how you doing? I just got off work. I'm on the road, so if you hear a lot of background noise, it's probably just me on the road. So I apologize in advance.
Doesn't sound too bad.
Everything that's going on with Callisto Protocol. For me personally, I mean, yeah, whenever there's a late embargo, that's always kind of spooky. The 150 developers helping out, cool. Motion cap, voice, whatever, that's cool. But when the fidelity was different, that's what raised the red flag for me.
Fidelity?
And, well, yeah, I mean, the performance is different. There's things that are missing. And even if they did build it from the ground, or if they built it on a PlayStation platform, and they went ahead and got it out. The fact still remains that it's performing lower on the opposing platforms. So for me, like, I want to get the game, but I'm not going to pay full price for a lesser product right now. That's my thing. I don't care if Sony helped out with it, but it's kind of spooky to me.
I don't blame you. I honestly don't blame you. I wouldn't want to do it either. You know what I mean? And I think it does look spooky, but I feel like people need to not draw lines where it shouldn't be drawn, because someone mentioned this before too. And let me ask you this: do you have a PS5, or you just have the series or a PC?
I just have the Series X right now.
Okay. So, and I don't, people can like what they like. I'm not really a fanboy. I like PlayStation, and I don't have anything else but PlayStation. I mean, I got like a little PC that could do something, but I have my own reasons for liking it, and I'm pretty not biased. And my whole purpose, especially with this Twitter and how I had the little tweet that went viral, is really just to make people that don't play games consider it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really like the whole rhetoric of fanboyism in general, right? I never liked it in the first place. But in terms of Resident Evil, right? Resident Evil was actually marketed by Sony. We had the first demo and everything, and it ran better on the Series X. You know what I mean? I just think that this game, I don't know how, and you know what else is kind of weird too? EA was able to push out, unless they've been doing it for a long time. But what is it coming out next year? Dead Space? Is Dead Space coming out next year?
I think so, yeah.
It's kind of crazy, right? Right, you know what I'm saying? Like they came out crazy with this shit, you know? So I'm thinking to myself, how are they able to push this out? So I think it's just a situation where they try to rush it out a bit, you know what I mean? And Sony has a different SKU, you know what I mean? Or a different development kit, right? You still there? There you are.
Yeah, man, I just muted my mic for all the noise.
No, yeah, but you're fine. I don't think it's that bad at all, really. Let me see. Are we live? I'll put it here. Okay. I think it was just like a different development kit, and it's just not. They function a little differently. You know what I mean? That's what I think it is. And since Sony helped them, they just have tools readily available on the Sony end. You know what I mean? But it's some bugs. It's some bugs on PlayStation too. Like when I turn off the game and load up the what the fuck you call it? When I load up the quick save or whatever it does, the automatic save, it locks the game up. You know what I mean? So I have to always like find the load and then do it that way. So there's that.
Right.
But going based off of the game itself, it's like weird. Like, how do you feel about people, right, that say that you shouldn't be following the following the Metacritic, right?
Right.
And then all of a sudden they use the Metacritic.
Some of them, including myself, I like to use, like, whenever I do, I won't say I like to catch people slipping, but I just find it ironic that they'll go with one narrative one day, or they'll use Metacritic to their benefit one way, and then denounce it another. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I mean, if you like a game, play the game. Like Metacritic doesn't matter. Metacritic is there for it's fuel. It's ammunition. That's all it is, and people are going to use it to benefit them whenever. But if I see a game that I like, I don't care what Metacritic has to say about it. You know, like I started playing Scorn.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, I finished Scorn. Scorn is a disgusting game. I played it for myself to find out if I liked it or not, and if it was something that I was gonna like prioritize my time over everything else that I have going on in my life. Ultimately, that answer was no, because I'd rather grind away and either Call of Duty or go through some other things on my backlog. But yeah, man, like for the people to just say, "Oh well, it's this score," don't get it. That's some of the, excuse my language, that's some of the stupidest shit I ever heard of in my life. People are gonna use it for console warring. That's cool, but you can't let somebody else tell you not to buy a game. That's dumb. I mean, we didn't grow up like that.
We certainly did. I had a conversation with somebody. We certainly did not. I'm 38 years old. I'm going on 38 this year, right? Or next year.
I'm 38.
Right. And when the only thing that we had, right, back in the day was how ill an advertisement was. That's the only thing we had to go by. When they showed Vice City, right? No. Yeah, when they showed Vice City, you were driving around, they were playing Flock of Seagulls, and you had a motorcycle that ran. I was like, that shit look dope. It's copped.
Yep.
That's all I needed to know. Yep. If I fucked up with that, and if it was an ass game, so be it. Oops.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, people were like, okay, so I saw Callisto Protocol. I saw it look nasty. That's really what I like. I think that Silent Hill is the scariest game or scariest medium I've ever played, me personally. So I knew this wasn't going to scratch that itch. So I was like, I do a little, I do a little theme park scare, jump scare type shit. But the funny thing about Callisto Protocol, right, is that you get people, right, that would talk about the story. Oh, the story is it's non-existent. I don't really like the story. But bitch, you play Resident Evil. What's the story for that one? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. People are weird, and then everyone want to talk about glitches and stuttering, right? But then they were just licking it up when it came to fucking Elden Ring, which came out with crazy issues. And actually, Cyberpunk did too. Cyberpunk had a lot of issues as well, and everybody kept shut, including the media. I'm on the side of the media has a little bit too much fucking power when it comes to this shit. Because I'm going to say this. I'm not going to sit there and shit. Because look, I have a problem with Elden Ring in general. Because it's a new IP using old-ass assets from a different franchise, right? Fine. If you like the Souls type stuff, that's great. Or whatever the case is. That's whatever. But because of how the Souls was marketed, it was literally marketed as the best thing ever, and it bumped up the sales. The same thing with Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk was marketed crazy too, and no one knew anything of it. You know what I mean? No one played it except for these influencers. No one played it, and because of these influencers, it made people buy it. And it sucks because when somebody wants to do something new, Savage, then all of a sudden, right, they can get hurt by this shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They try to do something new with the melee system, which plays a lot like The Last of Us a little bit with the whole dodging mechanics. You know what I mean? They try to make it not like Dead Space, because Dead Space focuses on shooting. They don't even have like melee really. You know what I'm saying? But this one does, so it's like inverted. But nobody want to hear that shit, man. Like, it's weird to me, man. Now people talk about the game is too short, but then God of War is too long. I don't understand people. I don't get it. All I can tell you is this, right? Callisto Protocol is a game when it works for the other platforms, right? It's a game that's like a theme park ride, right? With jump scares, and it has a little bit of a challenge, and it's linear. It's an experience. You go from point A to Z, and that's how you play the game. And that's it. You don't have to have a crazy ass storyline everywhere you fucking go. I mean, wasn't that the problem with AAA games? Didn't people complain about AAA games being too story heavy? Now you got a game that don't really focuses too deeply on that. Now there's a fucking problem. I don't understand this community, yo. It is so annoying.
Like, people have gotten away from what video games were and the developers created. Let them create, you know. Who says that every video game has to be the same? Like you said, over the shoulder, you know, the same template, blah, blah, blah. Like, let people create. I mean, that's what I want, new IPs.
That's what everybody was. Everybody was yelling about that. They were like, we want new IPs. Now you got one. Now it's not good enough.
Right. You know, and I understand God of War isn't a new IP, but it's a reimagining game. They changed up everything. It's technically a completely different game, right?
Right.
Same thing I can say with, the new Perfect Darkness coming out. I don't think it's going to be the same as the old Perfect Darkness. Its whole setting is different. The plot's going to be different. I consider that, to me, that's pretty much a new IP. It's not like a remake. Like we're getting completely different games. I don't know where it was lost in translation that, hey, or where the normal came that, hey, all of these games need to play the same. If it doesn't follow this template, it's trash. Or if it doesn't, cross these T's and dot these I's, it's trash. I'm sick of that, man. Let people create what they want to create. If you don't like it, keep moving.
Point blank. You know what I mean? People say that the industry is stale and we need new things and stuff like that. But then, like, somebody was actually complaining and was asking for puzzles in this game. Puzzles. Then you want to talk about pacing all the time. Like, what is happening with these people? I don't understand. When God of War had puzzles, then I don't like the puzzles.
Oh, we don't want these puzzles. Why are these puzzles?
Then you have a game that kind of allows for you to just fuck around, dick around, and just be on a theme park ride, right? Where you're shooting things and, it can scare you occasionally and stuff like that. All right, cool. Oh, that's all you do is shoot.
Well, I mean, it's a horror game. How else do you expect to survive? What are you going to do?
It's a survival game. It's a survival game where you find your shit and you're supposed to survive in this place. That's it. I don't know. I know I'm talking a lot, and I apologize, man. Like I'm very passionate about shit like this because I do want new experiences. I do want experiences where they're going to exclusively work with next gen or this current gen hardware, and they're not shackled to last generation and stuff like that. I want this to move forward, right? But the people that are so involved with drama, it stifles the industry, man. Like it's like hardcore stifling,
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean it's huge. I mean, developers do listen, and they hear stuff, and they know how to.
Unfortunately,
they know how to work it to their advantage. They know how to put out certain things that they hear that their consumers want. And if the consumers out, boom, it's a W, they listen. Or they're giving us this. And it can be something small and gimmicky or something pertaining to the console war. They'll get it and they'll run with it.
Like I
just think it's amazing.
Yeah, go on. I'm sorry, my bad. Yeah.
A few years ago, if somebody tweeted something to a developer, it really, unless it was like a big influencer or a standalone journalist, they would listen to them. But now, you have these smaller influencers, these console guys and girls that are actually really reaching these people. And you've had a couple developers get in trouble for firing back. Like we live in a crazy time, with these video games now. Like it's almost like we're interacting with the future of what we actually get. Like you can actually really see, the product, like how people, like how our voice being heard through these video games and how we do things. And it's really good, but it also has some negative aspects to it as well.
That's the funny thing, right? And what's crazy is that like when it comes to social media, there's so much pull to this shit. You know what I mean? Like you can get a crazy ass like following just by on social media in general, where people just sit there and be like, they'll get a following and it starts to, and at one point it is good to have as a consumer to have some sort of power. For instance, I put in a viral tweet about Horizon Forbidden West, about how good the ocean looked, right? But there's a glitch with the latest patch. They wouldn't have normally heard me out. You know what I'm saying? But with it going so viral, now this is a good thing. Now I can really kind of talk to them directly. And he actually did respond to me and shit like that, which was pretty cool, and I just, we get situations where it could be very helpful or it could be very harmful, you know. And some people deliberately do things just to kind of throw off the developer. You know what I mean? You know, they'll say they want something and they really don't want it. Like this happened a lot with Killzone. Killzone was a methodical shooter, and people were like, "I want it like Call of Duty." Well, if you want it like Call of Duty, how about you play Call of Duty?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? If you don't like Callisto Protocol, you like Dark Dead Space, then wait for that to come out. It's coming out.
Wait for Dead Space to come out.
It's coming. You know.
It's funny you say that. Speaking of shooters and them trying to be like other shooters, Halo struggled with that for a while, man. With Halo 4, or actually it started with Halo Reach.
It did, yeah.
They did it the wrong way, and I understand that the game has to evolve. Certain things need to be in Halo, I believe, like sprint. I mean, Spartans are super soldiers. They're fast. They're super fast. They need to be able to sprint. But a lot of the other things, like the ADS, I mean, that's questionable. There are a lot of things they tried to grab from other shooters to make Halo stand out or to move along, What other okay. That's an example of it not working out for it. An example of shooters borrowing things from other shooters to make it work for them is Modern Warfare 2. Look at everything they've taken from Fortnite. I don't know if you played Fortnite, if you know how
I know of it, yeah.
All that stuff has evolved. Man, they have taken so much stuff from Fortnite, but they've actually made it better, and it works for their ecosystem. Because
they took what they needed and they properly evolved. You know what I'm saying? They properly evolved their franchise, which is great. Like with Halo and Killzone, what they ended up doing was aping a popular game and losing their identity altogether. And it doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? You alienated everybody that liked the game in the first place. So there's your problem.
This is the first time in a long time that Halo has felt something like Halo to me. It's a welcome evolution. It's like the multiplayer 5 was okay, but 4 with the drops and all that stuff and the loadouts in 5, man, that just didn't sit. That didn't feel like Halo. That's not Halo.
Damn. Which is crazy. You know what I mean? It's like it could it sucks that they decided to listen to other people that don't even fucking like the game. You know what I mean? It's always that's why I mean they try to make. That's why I mean it can be harmful because the people that actually played Call of Duty, right? The people who were fanboys or whatever the case is, came out and was like, "Yo, why don't you should be able to sprint. You should be able to look down so you aim down sights. You should be able to do this. You should be able to do that. Why can't this game do this?" Now the developers are listening and they're like, maybe we do need to evolve in that way. It's so disingenuous. But here's the thing. Going back to Callisto Protocols, I'm actually streaming that one. Here's the thing with Callisto Protocol, right? I typed in Callisto Protocol just because I haven't beaten the game. I just started it. I mean, I put in a couple hours and shit like that just to see how I feel about it and just talk about. And what I like, what is here, I really like, which is great. You know what I mean? But I typed in Callisto Protocol. You know what I found? Was like 7 fucking YouTube videos, right? 7 of them. I hate Callisto Protocol. This is a horrible game. Oh, it sucks. And these hyperbolic fucking verbiage. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, do you know what fucking horrible is? Do you know what that is? And the funny thing, it's like they say it to jump on a bandwagon, to get clicks or whatever the case is. And a lot of these quote unquote journalists, they gotta go, man.
They gotta get likes, man. There's always gonna be that audience that's on their side.
These mofos are twerking for likes, man. That's what they're doing, man. They do the whole YouTube video where they have the surprise orgasm face. You know what I mean? With whatever shit in the background. Oh, I tried Callisto Protocol for 3 hours and boy, this is a doozy. You click onto it and it's like they just ape exactly. They have no they don't know how to critically think. You know what I'm saying? Because they, like I said before, I feel like what they're looking for is they're looking for a Dead Space game, and it's not Dead Space. It's not Dead Space, nor would it be. I think they have patents where they can't make it a Dead Space any fucking way. You know what I mean? They can't. It can't be that close to Dead Space. But here we are. You know, we are at a situation where they literally are just like, I need this to be Dead Space. You know what I mean?
I mean, as soon as they drop that patch on there, until then.
I think it's work. I think it's the only reason why I say that I would wait, not because of the gameplay, right? Well, no, I'm right. Not because of the gameplay, because I had this conversation a long time ago in terms of what makes a game of the year game. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
not that it matters, but I mean when I say game of the year, I don't necessarily mean game of the year by the publications or by the social media. I mean like your own personal one. What would make a game that ill? You know what I mean? That sick. And I was like, you know what it looks like? It looks like people only care about story, actually. As long as you have a good story, yo, that shit is game of the year. But I don't think that's true either. Upon like looking into it a little bit more and more, I found out a couple of different things. You do need to have good music because music definitely helps you out when it comes to the game. I mean, you 38 years old, you know how you felt when you played Sonic
Right.
or you played Mario and you went down the fucking you know how you felt. It's a vibe. You know what I mean? You also have to have good characters. You know what I mean? Cool looking characters, cool acting, cool, charismatic characters, right? You also have to have pretty, right? You have to have pretty tight gameplay too. And what I'm noticing here too, which God of War suffers from, right? They made the gameplay more complicated, and that's will eventually kind of take away from people recognizing it as a really good game when it's too complicated, right? There's a lot of extra
Right.
stuff. Not to say that I don't want it. I like I like the involved mechanics, but when a game is simple, like God of War, the original one, 2018, it was just a very simple. You take the ashes to the highest peak, and then it kind of led you to one place to another place to another place without all the extra fluff or all the extra stuff. You know what I'm saying? Fine, okay. This other God of War has a whole bunch of stuff going on there too. But anyway, yeah, good music, charismatic characters that are pretty cool, tight gameplay that's not overly complicated, right? And then you also have to have a good story. I feel like Callisto Protocol, for the most part, has tight gameplay. The sounds and music fits this game wonderfully. The graphics are up there. I think you have a charismatic character, but it doesn't have the story. It's not that it's bad. It's you. If you want to have a game that you like, you need to have all those things firing on all cylinders. So if you are a horror fan and you're looking for something that has I don't think the story is bad. They don't give you enough information on what's happening so far as I know, because everything is acted it's acted wonderfully. You know what I mean? No one's sticking out or whatever the case is. I just need to. I want to know more of the world, and Dead Space has that. You know what I mean? Dead Space has a very complicated system going on with their world. So I don't know. What do you feel like would make a game of the year for you?
Let me see. A lot of the stuff you just mentioned. I like personally, I like graphics, um, but also it's going to have a good story. And like you said, I want to have a solid background, like a good developed or just intricate. Like I want some meat. I want a really thick story. I want a lot going on in the world. And the lore doesn't have to be there all at once in the first game or whatever. But I like to have like a sense of adventure. Like I want to know what else is out there. Like when I finish the game, I want to be left like wondering. I want to have enough.
You want to live in the world. You
When
know
I
what I mean? You want to live in
know,
what they painted for you. Not just a window dressing. You want to really be in it.
yeah. And aside from that, as long as I understand games are gonna have bugs. I remember in Sonic, you get 100 rings, you get hit by a daggum shell or whatever, it would skip to like 1 or 2 frames a second. I mean, bugs are out there. As long as they aren't game breaking, you know. I can deal with a few bugs, but as long as they don't break the game, fine. Like, hey, there's a problem with this, you know, patch this up. Now, if there's something that's missing completely, that's a whole different story. But anyway, what makes a game of the year for me, like you said, the story, the music, all that has to be there. Like right now, I would say, actually this year, for games that I've completed this year, I don't have a game of the year. So I can't really speak on that, but a lot of...
You play Elden Ring?
What's up?
You play Elden Ring?
I haven't beaten Elden Ring yet. I have not beaten it yet. But like that game, it's my first Souls game, but there's so much in that game, and they just drop you in. They say, "Hey, go figure this out." And I'm sitting up, going in the dungeons, getting my ass handed to me by these little fucking trolls that are like the first level. And you know what? You just got to figure that shit out. You know, I haven't played a game like that since this game on Nintendo called Crystalis.
Oh, now you going all the way back. Yeah.
And like, I didn't have a manual for it. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just jumped into the game, and I remember I couldn't, you know, as a kid, I couldn't go past this level. I couldn't figure out why, you know. And so I kept going around. I just kept going into these areas that I was afraid to go into because I didn't want to go around these NPCs. And I finally managed to get around them. Boom! I opened up something else. So, you know, it forces you, it gets you out of your comfort zone. You know, that's that sense of adventure, you know, that gives you those moments that stick with you for forever, you know? And it's rare for me right now to get those moments in games. So whenever one does come across like that really, like, speaks to me like that, those get put up there in the game of the year for me. Like being a dad now. I didn't play God of War 2018. But I watch YouTube play. I know y'all probably gonna roast me for this. Watching.
I feel like I'm gonna check that. I'm gonna check that right now, yo. As a gamer, absolutely not, yo. You deserve to be roasted for that one. But
I'm not gonna bash this game.
But no, I get it. But the only reason why I'll roast you on this one. I really do feel like you need to, especially as a father, you would need to actually play this game. It's a different experience. Like, as a gamer, if I played Gears of War, I could have watched it and made a critique about it and kept it moving. But when you look at Gears of War and play it, it's not the same.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So, I mean, just from what I saw, just from not playing it, man, I was damn near crying. And that's just from watching the shit, you know? So you'll never catch me saying anything bad about God of War. Sony, don't get me wrong, Sony's on this shit, you know, with their games, and they're using their assets, they're using their resources. You know, they make movies, they got the writers, you know, and they're using that, you know, and I applaud them for that. They're doing whatever the hell they can with what they have to make good games. And
well, now you can play it on PC. You know what I'm saying? At this point in time, if you don't really want to pick up if you bleed green like that deep. You can play it on.
No, man, my PC is shit. I need to get a new my motherboard failed, and I just hadn't had time and money to put into it. I've been so busy with work. Like I said, I'm leaving work right now.
Yo, wait. Let me tell you this real quick. Yo, speaking of PC, as a fellow console player, right?
Right.
You know what the fuck is funny? You get a lot of these. I mean, I'm pretty sure you dabble in the what do you call it? You dabble on the Twitter and shit like that. There is always this elitist gamer that want to sit there and say that I got all consoles. You know what I mean?
Right.
I got all consoles, you know, and PC, and the PC is the best place to play. And you stupid not like no one's gonna waste a whole bunch of money. Like I have a decent amount of money. Ain't no fucking way I would get a Ferrari. For what? And the same thing with PC, because guess what? A PC is going to run your fucking games slightly better. You know what I'm saying?
This is the thing with PC.
You're
Tell
me.
Constantly, like year after year, you got to keep up, and you're spending thousands of dollars just on hardware.
Well, I will say this: you don't have to do it year after year. Usually, it's future proof. But they say that it's the best experience to play all together. That's what they say. That's what they claim, right? It's the best experience. Why would you get a console? The only reason why you have a console is for exclusive. But then you see like Gotham Knight, right? That has issues out the gate. And then you see fucking Callisto Protocol that has issues out the gate. And for the most part, the consoles don't really have a problem. The consoles, this is what happens when you don't play games. You just play specs and you play Twitter and you play Metacritic. That's what happens. You're not even enjoying your games. You're busy looking at specs or you're looking at awards. You know what I mean? Oh, my game was rated higher than yours, but did you like the game though? You know, there are people that played Red Dead Redemption that says one of the best games of all time, right? They haven't finished it.
Right.
So much, you know what I mean? So much for best game of all time. So it's funny. It's funny to me. Like, I wouldn't even want to have a PC at all. Like, I have a PC that could play something and is decent. I don't want to play it because you have a lot of issues with PC. I just want to pop in the game and keep it moving. That's all I want to do.
Yeah, that's why I primarily stuck to consoles.
You know, but
the time is right. You know, we'll get a PlayStation. I know my son, he wants a PlayStation. He's a Spider-Man head.
Oh, it's coming, man. It's coming. That shit. You know what I mean? You're right. They're using all their assets, all their movie studios, all their music studios to do what they need to do. And I like, honestly, you seem like what they say in God of War, a calm and reasonable person. You know what I mean? So, if you like what you like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, I like to make these crazy ass analogies. If anybody knows me, I make these really ridiculous analogies. Me personally, I'm a heterosexual man that don't like a lot of ass. But if you do you? You know what I'm saying? If you like Xbox, I wouldn't buy it, but I ain't gonna get mad at somebody buying it either. Nor do I, you know. I'm just being honest with you. You know, I don't feel like I need to tell somebody what to do. As long as you're rational, you know why you are engaged in it. If we're gonna have a conversation, that's fine. Not that you owe me an explanation. You don't owe me shit. You know what I mean? But if we're gonna have a conversation about it, at least know what you want. Don't run around talking about some Game Pass. Why are you talking about Game Pass? What was the last game you played? Like, if you like Halo, which it seems like you do, you know what I mean? If you like Gears of War, okay, cool. If you like what they're offering, all right, cool. You mentioned Perfect Dark, all right, great. But I'm not going to be on a crusade to tell you what to buy. That's not what I'm going to do. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make any sense for me. I do want to kind of stick to the Callisto Protocol situation. Just let everybody know that if they have played Callisto Protocol or were thinking about playing Callisto Protocol, I want to just basically tell you guys it is a good game. It's a good game.
Man, what's all the commotion with everybody's talking about the dodging? How it's hard. Like, what's going on with that?
To me, you know what's funny? To me, it seems mentally intuitive, right? And it demands that you look at your enemies. So if your enemy is coming, swinging down to the right, because of the way that the camera is kind of like positioned, you just move the analog stick to the left and he'll dodge away from the attack. Basically, all you got to do is move the analog stick away from where you're looking at how the enemy is attacking. And that's how you dodge. Or like if you play like a fighting game, you hold back to block. Typically, you have a dodge mechanic and you have to press the dodge mechanic at the same time to make it happen. Now, here's the funny thing, right? If you don't want to do all that analog stick movement, they literally have an auto dodge in this game. Nothing, absolutely nothing. They have a combat assist, right? And you can do auto aim. You know what I mean? You could do melee assist if if you don't. I'm turning it off actually. If you don't want to fuck around with that and it tries to assist you, you can do auto dodge. If you don't feel like fucking around with the controls, if you don't want to press, if you have carpal tunnel, you can't be pressing shit quickly. You can hold the button. You know what I mean? You could QTE single presses, QTE auto thing. You could do all these like accessibilities, which is a Sony thing. They've been doing that lately to kind of help people that don't play games play games. I mean, we gotta, it's the right type of inclusion in this case. You know what I mean? Because there's some people that are just getting into the scene. It's like what Sony has done is they mainstream the fuck out of games.
No activity.
You know what I mean? There are a lot of people. There's a girl. She's on YouTube, and I enjoy watching her. Not because she's a chick, but I enjoy watching her because she's kind of new to gaming, and her responses are so genuine. Like she played God of War, and there was some situation that was tear jerking, and it was something new to her. She would cry on scene, like and it was genuine, not the fake kind of tears. She would be like, "Wow, like this shit hits the feels." You know what I mean? And over time, I've seen her over the last 2 to 3 years. She's gotten a lot better. She even fucking killed all the fucking Valkyries. She killed I'm like, damn. And this is coming from somebody that don't do it. So these accessibility options could help you get to a point, but also these storylines are and graphics are so intricate nowadays, right? That they're starting to feel like another type of entertainment medium that anybody can consume, which is great. There's a lot of elitists that don't want that to happen. You know what I mean? Because they want, like, for instance, you got a lot of people that play Souls games. And I don't recommend this because gaming can't be for everybody. You know what I mean? You can't make me play a sports game. I don't like sports games. There's nothing you can do to make me buy it, and that's fine. But there's some elitists out there like, I don't want to change nothing. Keep it this way, or I will not ever buy your Sid. They get real, they get real upset with that shit. And it's like it's not even that deep. But in this case, um, with this game, it has like really high, like the Chronicles of Riddick. It has that type of vibe to it. You know what I mean? Where
Man, that game.
that's what this game feel like. When that guy, I forgot what before you buy, he does videos like that. I don't usually like him like that because I feel like he does so. His reviews are so surface level, but I think he knocked it out of the park in terms of how he described this game. Like legitimately knocked it clean out the park. It is Chronicles of Riddick. That's what it is. And I'm okay with that. It's a roller coaster ride. That's what this game is. And it's not meant like imagine going to Six Flags or any other theme park, right? And expecting a fucking storyline when you go on a ride. I want to know why I'm on here. Like, come on, bitch. Like, not everything needs to be that deep. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's some people, but like I said, the dodge mechanic, you have an option for the dodge mechanic, right? You have the option to be like, okay, cool. Let me just let the shit auto dodge or whatever. But honestly, the mentality of the dodge is, to me, it sits right with me. It makes the melees engaging, and I'm okay with that. You know,
I mean, that's the developers. It's their vision. It's what they wanted to create. And you evolve to it. It's just like playing Nintendo 64 for the first time, playing Mario or Turok Dinosaur Hunter. For console gamers, it was really the first time you ever had an analog stick. And I remember the first level, me and my brothers, I probably spent 30 minutes just trying to get across a fucking bridge because I kept falling off because I couldn't walk straight. It's a learning curve, and this new way of blocking. I mean, it's something that they're introducing to the game. It's new. I mean, run it,
man. Motherfuckers tripping about the dodge mechanic. It's a fucking mechanic, yo. Like, people are so used to a dodge button. And it does seem pretty simple now. The camera is a little janky, right?
yes, yep.
The camera doesn't like help you at all. Right? No. You have to be successful in spite of that fucking camera, and shit. But it's not the game. I'm only like an hour into it,
Mm-hmm.
and the game doesn't seem like it's that I'm gonna need a thesis to finish it. Like it seems like a very simple sci-fi story, great story, fucking beautiful fucking game. Like wow, it's fucking beautiful. I don't know, I like it. I think it's what a game's supposed to be.
A game. A game. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a fucking game.
Here's my question, yo. When the fuck did we stop rating games on, like, to me the most important feature in the game is the motherfucker fun, right? And are you enjoying it? That seems like a very taboo thing to talk about nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Like, game's fucking fun, man. I like it. But I'll admit, I'm biased. Not on some Sony, this is multi-plat anyway. But I'm biased because it's a space game. And my girl, when she comes over here tonight, we always like watch movies every night. First thing she says is, "Don't turn on space shit." That's how often I turn on some space shit. And so a game in space, oh, I'm playing that shit. So I like it. It's fun. It's definitely, now I think the whole, is it worth how much ever it cost? I could see the argument for it being a WFS though.
What's that mean?
Wait for a second.
Oh, okay.
I could see it. Like, you're not, like, I could see it could be, definitely it's up there with that wait for a sale shit. Like, you ain't missing shit. Like,
we played this. We played stuff that was similar to it. This is its own spin. Don't get it fucked up. You know what I'm saying? But it's not doing something to the point where you gotta have it right now because it's so innovative.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Usually, this.
Yeah.
And this is what I was saying before in terms of the story. If the game had like a crazy ass story where you could flip this bitch into like a book or a movie, then I'd be like, yeah, I would say to buy the game immediately because the experience is there in terms of gameplay wise. But you need to have a lot of cylinders being fired off. Really, I don't like. There's nothing gameplay wise wrong except for little things here and there, like a little jank here and there, which you know. You got Elden Ring that has just janky as shit, and some reason like no one cares about that jank. You know what I mean? There's no swimming animation. You just fall through the fucking map when you go into the ocean. But I digress with that one. I know I talk about fucking Elden Ring a lot, but people have a fucking problem with jank. And you're right. When did this happen where we can't talk about how we feel? Like, there's a bandwagon that people want to jump on because it's about clicks, man. And I feel like the general public they're stupid. They don't understand that they're doing it for clicks.
This is tribalism, man. People are it's not a fear of being alienated or, you know, you're not in the cool group. Oh, well, you play this or you play that, or oh, you like this game, or you said this about this. Oh, we're not gonna talk to you.
Yeah, I think that you know what it is and I've noticed this happen like real hardcore. When a pandemic happened, maybe about like 2 years before the pandemic, like 4 years ago, right? I started seeing like heavy as irrational tribalism, like really heavy tribalism that didn't make any sense. It was like weirdo shit to me, like the way that people were acting. All right, fine, right? Now, from what I understand, yeah.
Bro, you just started paying attention, nigga.
No. It always been this way. But like I said irrational. That's what there's always gonna be tribalism for until we die. But I mean like for instance, Nintendo fans, man. Because it's Nintendo, it's irrational. You know what I mean? They'll say it's the best thing since sliced bread. That game be broke like a motherfucker, y'all. And they'll just sit there and be like, whoa, oh, it's so good. Nintendo don't miss. And it's like, and we're not even talking about performance. Like the new Pokemon, for instance, yo, motherfuckers is falling through the fucking level. You know what I mean? This shit doesn't really work well.
How the fuck is that game? There's no excuse for that game to have performance issues. I'm sorry, there's not. No excuse.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the Nintendo Switch like a goddamn cell phone at this point.
Nah, it's worse.
So,
Yeah, it's like it's so it was antiquated back then. You know what I mean? In terms of a service, I mean in terms of a what do you call it? In terms of a hardware, it was already antiquated when it came out. But like I said before, but look, if they're having fun, they're having fun. But the thing that makes me like question it is because of how many glitches it is, and how its predecessor is better than the successor in almost every fucking way. But then they act like because it's a new one, like weirdo shit. The same thing with there was a lot of issues with The Last of Us where everybody act like The Last of Us was like a perfect game when it comes to Sony. Nobody on the Xbox side wanted to acknowledge that Halo had an issue, had a lot of issues, you know what I mean? Shit like that. You could be a fan of something and still call out the bullshit. You know what I mean? Like if you live in Philadelphia, right, and you like the Eagles, there are some hardcore fans, right? But they will still call the bullshit out all the fucking time. And that's fine. No one has a problem with that kind of fandom, right? Is when they're irrational that doesn't make any sense. And now, when it comes to gamers, I feel like there's a lot of people that don't game, especially these fucking PC ass motherfuckers, yo. They don't fucking game, I don't think. Not the ones that are popping off at the mouth. Motherfuckers are turning things on and turning specs on and off and then turning the whole computer off and going back to whatever corresponding console. You know what I'm saying? Just to say that they have a good PC. And I don't know what the fuck. People, if I had a superior hardware, I wouldn't be on Twitter, yo. I'll be stuck in like this space. I'm about to end it because I already have my fair share of this shit, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like I like the game. I don't need to be on here for 7 hours. You know what I mean? No disrespect to whoever.
You know the thing about PC, man. The thing I think about PC, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. PC has the hardware, but it doesn't necessarily have the community, right? Like the Xbox and the PlayStation. I'm sure PC has a community as far as the numbers goes, right? But as far as black folks and like the culture and shit like that, like I think that's why PC guys are here, because consoles are kind of more mainstream, like regular niggas. Like, I mean, we're already like, I mean, my girl already looked at me and called me a fucking nerd because I talk to y'all niggas all day about video games.
Oh well.
But what nerd level do you have to be to buy a fucking $3,000 PC to play a video game on it? I mean, you gotta be up there. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a different. I just think it's a different like fucking. So I don't think like the culture's there. So I think that's why PC guys, they want to be part of the gaming community, which is console shit. And then, shit, just like you said before, man, if I was, hanging around my broskies, but I had enough money to buy a Ferrari, I would definitely come with my windows down and revving the engine every now and again. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with it.
I mean, if you pay for it and shit like that, but for me personally, I'm not going to, like, I'm a practical utilitarian person. I am not going to go and buy something for somebody else unless I'm buying the gift for JJ. That's the only way that I'm going to do it. That's it. But in terms of to impress another dude, to say I have something, I ain't wasting my money on that shit. Absolutely not.
No, bro. Niggas buy shit to impress niggas all the time, man. Let's stop this shit.
Oh no, they do.
All right.
The facts.
Wait, stop. I say niggas. My crew is buying trucks right now, right? So my homeboy just now bought a 2023 motherfucking Chevy S10, not S10, Chevy F150, not F150, 1500. My other homeboy bought that's Silverado, thanks. My other homeboy bought a 2023 motherfucking F150. My other homeboy bought a 2016 Tundra. My black ass over here with a 2016 F150. I can't even let that happen. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm about to buy you know what I'm saying? Like, well, I can't have my homeboy signing on me like that. So yeah, I mean, I think it's natural, man, to have like that friendly look, nigga, look what I bought shit. And bitches do it all the time. Like, nigga, not never one nigga ever fucked a chick on some shit like, yo, you see how much them shoes that bitch had on cost? Like, nigga, we don't know about that shit. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like,
but women do. Women know all about our shit, yo. They be like, those socks. Nah, I can't fuck with it. You wear them socks. And ain't they Target socks? Why you have that? But have like express jeans though. No, they all, man.
Like, women flex bags all the time now. Like, you'll see a woman and, you know, we don't know how much them bags cost. You know what I'm saying? We don't know how much them shoes cost. You know, it's chick shit. So people do it. It's natural, man. It's natural to flex shit, man. And impress. To impress your peers. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's the nature of the beast, man. I ain't knocking niggas for it. I ain't knocking niggas for buying a 4090. You know, if you got the money and you could, you know, if you got to spend it, man, be happy. Fuck it, you know.
You're right, yo. I ain't going to sit there and act like. I mean, I don't personally do it, man. You know what I mean? You know, I don't personally do it, but I get it though.
Shit, man, I got a whole motherfucking Series X upstairs that I play 3 times a year around this motherfucker, man, just because I want it. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know.
I mean, it's there to scratch that itch if it happens.
If it happens. And I bought a new controller on Black Friday just for 2023 when the motherfucking games come out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
They are coming.
If those fucking games, when those games come. I'm excited about Warhammer, kinda. I hope it's fun, you know.
Hey, when does that drop?
Fuck, I don't know, man. They don't be telling people shit. I think January sometime. Hopefully. I thought it was December, but January sometime. It got delayed.
You know, a funny thing is, man, I was talking to one of my boys, right? Because I'm a music head, right? And I love like expensive ass headphones and shit. And my headphones there was no problem with the headphones though. But I was like, man, the paint is chipping on a little bit. You know, it's chipping. You know what I mean? I need to spend like $500 to get a new one. There's a little bit of a chip on the side. I couldn't help myself, man. This shit terrible.
What'd you get?
It's a Sony one. It's like, you know, they have crazy ass names like what is it, MDR
Okay.
1A.
The joints that connect to the PlayStation?
No, they're not PlayStation headphones. They're actual like music. I use it though because they sound so much better, bro.
No, I heard that they had some like overhead headphones that connect to the PlayStation, not the pulse joints. But
Yeah, you talking about the I forgot what they call it. My friend asked me about it and he was wondering if he should get it, man. I'm like, because the PlayStation has like, if you plug it into your controller, it automatically makes whatever headphones 3D audio, whatever it is, which is pretty cool. But that coupled with some good sounding headphones is fucking tops, man. I don't even like using the sound bar or nothing, man. It just sounds so much better, man. It's just so much better.
Nigga, you a audiophile and you got a sound bar on your TV, though? What you doing over there?
Well, I don't use it. My job actually gave me a sound bar, which I don't know if I told you. I'm moving. I'm selling all my shit in the apartment and getting new ones. And where I'm moving to, I'm staying. You know, unless it falls off the map. So, you know what I mean.
You moving to a house or another apartment?
I can't do a house yet because of the economy is all fucked up, man. Like I could do it. I'm not wasting money.
Are you renting a house or an apartment?
It's gonna be an apartment.
Okay.
But I'm only doing it for a year because I need to stay in. Like there's some perks you can get for living in the state that I'm going to. I need to be there so I can get those perks. I'm all about crunching numbers, man. I used to be a financial advisor, so nope. At least no money.
I think that's the only perk about, well, not the only perk, but that's one of the perks about living in a house, man. Like, I got a surround sound system, and my girl don't live with me. Man, my shit, I be rattling the motherfucking house every night, man. When I don't need to talk to niggas, man. Like, last night when I was playing that Callisto protocol, man, hey, that shit had me jumping around. I was playing with my 3-year-old daughter on my goddamn, on my lap and shit. Man, she was fun as hell, man. She was scaring shit, dog.
Man, I bet she was. That's just child abuse.
Yo, I hate this generation, yo. Y'all some sensitive ass motherfuckers, yo. Yo, stop that shit, yo. We saw RoboCop when we were younger, yo. The first one. Let's not. Let's not, man. That shit was straight child abuse. That RoboCop.
Yeah, that RoboCop was tough. You know what's funny? You know what's funny though? Like, I don't know how I would feel about RoboCop now as a 41-year-old black man who hates cops and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had a different fucking relationship with cops when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? But now I really hate cops. Like, fuck cops. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck them. You know what I'm saying? And so, I don't know how I feel about Murphy, yo. You know?
No, that was the most. I don't know why this resonated with me when I was younger. When he went back to his house, right? And he started remembering like all his life. Oh man, that shit hurt, man. I'm like, this nigga don't got a dick no more. I don't know why that shit bothered me, yo. I was like, oh no. And she was all, come here, Murphy. She dragged him into the bathroom. You know what I mean? She about to get her cooter ate or whatever the fuck was going on, man. I'm like, he can't do none of that. This nigga got black blood, yo. He got oil. I'm like, that shit was so dark.
Get an oil change.
That nigga got an oil change, man. I know he was heated, yo. When he realized the feelings that he could have had, I know he was livid. I would have broke.
Have y'all seen the new one?
Yeah, I did. I used to be a big fan of RoboCop. I mean, it was okay. It just didn't have like the violence of it. Like you remember they implanted the brains of other like convicts, and when that motherfucker saw he saw that he was a robot and broke it, he killed himself. I was like, yeah, or blew his brains out. He said, oh where? Oh no, the other guy ripped the brain out and everything. And he was like, not me. Nah, I can't do that. You know what I mean?
Speaking of movies, have y'all seen that? That's an older movie. Have y'all seen the movie The Quiet Place? A Quiet Place, whatever it's called.
Yes.
No, I heard about it. Everybody.
Nigga, watched both of them last night. Nigga, when I tell you that shit, I ain't gonna lie, your boy, no spoilers, but your boy's crying. Your boy's crying.
Yeah.
You know the grown man. You know the grown man cry. You be like, God damn, you wipe your face and shit like that. Yeah. You always cry a little bit. That's just great. Yeah. That's just great.
I ain't gonna lie, God of War got me like that though. I ain't, you know what I mean? That shit, yo. Yo, I closed one eye, yo, and then sucked that tear back up, yo. I was like, nah, nope.
Not today.
I was like, not today, tears, no. Gotta hold it back. You know, they had that fucking Celtic or whatever Scandinavian woman singing. I was like, you making it worse. Let me turn the volume down. Stop singing. But yo, huh?
Some the ending of Gladiator type shit.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, like I remember actually there was a couple games that kind of got me like in my feelings, man. Like Snake Eater, I didn't like that one.
I think The Last of Us was the most emotional game I ever played, Joe. To this day.
Which one?
The first one. When not Joe, but when his daughter got killed and shit.
You got kids and stuff like that. What killed me, right? What really bothered me was the fact that little black kid, Henry, oh man, I couldn't believe that shit, yo. I turned that shit off after that. When he was a zombie, he was.
Moments for me. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
No, go on. Go on.
Man, not this. Okay, Gears of War. Dom was sad.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
But with Maria, when he found Maria, dude, I had to let the game. I turned the game off for a little bit. Like when she looked normal, then she just deteriorated in his arms. I was like, man, fuck these locusts. Let's kill all these motherfuckers.
Oh, you know what? I'll say this too, yo. I'm gonna wrap up the space and stuff like that, so I can focus on what do you call it? This fucking Callisto Protocol. How many people are actual fans of the Spider-Man cartoon back in the 90s?
I mean, I watched it Saturday morning and shit, you know.
You remember when Mary Jane was she found out she was a clone done by that Hydro dude?
I don't remember that shit. Yeah.
Well, anyway, what was bad about it, right? She found out that she was, and I think that she kind of broke the news to him. She was like, "Well, Peter, I'm dying." You know what I mean? Because he didn't showed her his face and everything, and they was about to live happy ever after. And she started noticing that she was deteriorating. So she was just like, "I just want you to know, Peter, if I am a clone of her, she loves you with all her heart," and she disappeared. And Peter was like, "No!" I was like, "Ooh!" I said that. Why did he not do that check like that, yo? He didn't have to act like this for a cartoon. I was like, yo, that shit was too over the top, yo. It was so much over the top. It was like that black chick from Reading Rainbow. Why she singing it like that? She didn't have to go there. She went ham for no reason, yo. How many zeros did they give you to sing that song?
Right before you wrap the space up, man, we're speaking on The Last of Us real quick, man. For the record, I think Joe deserved that shit.
I knew you were going to say that shit. He didn't deserve that shit.
He was tripping like a motherfucker, yo.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He didn't deserve that. He didn't deserve none of it. And you can't tell me, you can't look me in my eye and tell me that you would do the same thing for your daughter. You can't tell me that.
I could definitely tell you I would do that for my daughter, but some chick who's not my kid.
She won, yo, over a whole year, she won him the fuck over. That's number one, right? Over a year, she chipped away at this dude. She chipped away at him until he capitulated, right? Finally, he did. And that was she was very similar to his daughter, right? So that was like his second chance. That's number one. Number two, the way that Twitter works, I wouldn't want to save this world either. Fuck this bitch. Fuck all this world, yo. Actually, save who? The niggas on Twitter too? Oh no. I'm about to sound like one of them old Spanish women. No. I wouldn't do that shit.
Oh, hey. Existence requested to speak real quick.
Oh yeah. Let me. I can't. I don't even be looking at this shit.
Well, I'm not gonna call him daddy, but that's call me daddy. The dude down there.
Hey.
Homeboy.
You niggas said call me daddy. Wait a minute.
No.
Yo, I was trying to chime in when y'all was talking about
he requested to speak. Period.
Y'all were talking about Callisto Protocol.
What's going on, bro?
Hey, how's it going?
I ain't calling you by that handle, by the way, yo. You can kick rocks.
Oh no! This was for somebody else who tried to tried to dox me, so they can call me daddy. You can just call me Game Over, bro. It's for a specific thing. I'm gonna probably change it in a week, but no, I wanted to hop in on y'all convo. I know you probably go head out, but
No, I got you. You got the floor. You got the floor.
I give you a couple quick ones. So first things first on the Callisto Protocol thing. Number one, I've been enjoying it and loving it on the PS5 with no performance issues. But what I am gonna say, not to down anybody who has had the issues, because it sucks to have performance issues. Period. Right? Xbox, PC don't matter. Strong, weak, it sucks. Right? But I noticed, like you said, and this is just the truth, I'm going to call it like it is. There's a lot of folks, they play Twitter, they don't play video games. They like having attention, so that's why they do the stuff that they do. These folks can't even afford to play Callisto. If it ain't on Game Pass, they not playing it. But they can be on Twitter and talk shit about it because there's a little bit of bad they can run with. This thing could have been a rare glitch that only happened to like a few people, or maybe people who only had like a 20 series graphics card, and they would still run with it like the game is just absolute fucking trash, right? So but you can tell the difference because I've seen folks who do play the Series X faithfully, and they were posting gameplay on here without a problem. So it just goes to show another example.
So the performance issues are only on the X or on the PC?
No, it's really PC. Really, I mean, the only thing that's a problem is the ray traced reflection. That's it.
Yeah. That's really it on the Xbox, and the ray tracing is expected to be fixed with a patch. I don't know how that happened. That is crazy, and I feel bad for them, but that performance thing is primarily on PC, and then even then, it's more of a shader issue. And just to kind of not necessarily educate anybody, but to speak to that, it's a difference between, oh wow, I got a 4090 and blah blah blah, this and that. You know, these clowns, they not gamers, they not nerds, they're not really into PC, they into graphics, right? And then half the people who on Twitter playing Twitter, they don't even own any of this hardware, right? So they can't even when you own the hardware, that doesn't make you educated to how it works and how it functions. So these dudes that are having these performance issues and talking shit, it's a shader issue. They just got to get off DLSS 11, off 12 and make it to 11. That performance issue has gone away until it's further patched, right? That is a common thing that kind of happens with a lot of new PC games, unfortunately.
Most PC games deal with shader compilation where basically you either have very long load times to fix it, or it's a relatively short load time and the game has to update all of the assets, which causes the stuttering in real time. So look.
And it happens, and that's just the unfortunate truth of gaming on the PC. Consoles get a little bit more love because more people are typically on consoles.
It's easier. You got a closed box where you don't have to worry about different configurations like that. That's just the net of it. That's the net of it. There's nothing wrong with that. If you like customization, then customize your ass to fix these shader compilations.
Exactly, and that's another thing. And so, like, when it comes to PC too, this is what I was gonna say. PC community, not the master race fuckboy energy shit.
So annoying.
But the real PC community that I would consider the real PC gaming community is very heavily in MMO. Right? They don't care about graphics. They don't care about all that. It's just a game to have fun, a rig. You can do a bunch of shit. It's a lot going on because PC is where the best MMOs are, right? You're talking World of Warcraft. If you're going to play Diablo, you want to play that on a computer, not a fucking Xbox, not nothing else. That's just the truth, right? And then the other thing is customization and mods, right? The Resident Evil 4 community in particular, I'll just mention this one, is huge in the modding community. And it has nothing to do with, graphic shaders. Yes, there's an aspect of it. Yes, we have that HD remaster thing that was done. It was like 10 years in the making, which I love it, right? That dude went through and they redid every single fucking texture, damn near pixel by pixel in that game for 10 years. And I knew when that shit came out, they were going to announce the remake, ironically. But
that's what happened to The Witcher 2, yo. They used some of the mods for this new Witcher that's coming out, the update.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, that's where the PC community is at its strongest. It's mods, it's customization, it's adding shit to games you love and working with a community. It's not about, oh man, I got a $3,000 piece of graphics card and CPU and my game just looks so beautiful. That's a part of it, but that was never the main focus. That was just when these little fuckboys that like to compare it, it's not a good game unless the graphics are great. That's where that came from. Because I was never into PC gaming because of graphics, and a lot of the folks I talked to weren't into it because of graphics. I really see a lot of that more often here on Twitter than anywhere else.
Yep. A lot of people that's on PC, what they will do, if you are a true PC person, you're not really playing these types of games anyway.
Exactly.
They don't really play. You play the Dotas, you play the MMOs and stuff like that. That's what they do, and they're quiet too. You don't ever see the motherfuckers on Twitter at all. You don't ever find these motherfuckers on Twitter because they're busy playing games. That's what they're doing.
They're having fun, right? That's why, like, I don't be on here as much as I could be because I'm playing games. I just got done barbecuing for friends and family, but you know what I mean, like. The real is folks is playing games, and you can tell who's not playing games. But furthermore, with the PC thing, like you said, they're busy playing games. Every PC community that I am a part of, Minecraft, Resident Evil mod community, or just Resident Evil in general, Metal Gear Online 2, because they got that going, right? And then I gotta get my shit together. I was prioritizing other life shit, but I want to do Resident Evil Outbreak, right? We got that server, but I don't want to say we, because I didn't have a hand in that. I just put my money where I can help. But the Resident Evil Outbreak is online again through PC, through emulation. Same thing with Metal Gear Online too. That's what people are doing on PC. People are not online arguing over graphics and dumb shit. That's just a weird, fake Twitter gaming thing. Like, it's so fucking weird.
It's entertainment.
No, but I mean, fine, it's entertainment. But like, if you're a fucking gamer. You know what I mean? Who gives a fuck?
Nobody cares. Nobody cares when you're a gamer. I played Metal Gear Solid. I got my wife. I'm getting my wife into gaming, right? So we did Metal Gear Solid 1 through fucking 5, etc. You think she didn't? First off, she's not that kind of person to complain anyway. But I had no problem playing Metal Gear Solid 1 again. If
I don't, bro, I don't either, I can play a fucking PlayStation 1 game and see it, well, not exactly, but I know why I liked it back then.
Yeah. You know, like, the graphics thing is kind of chatty to me, but then also the disingenuous side you see comes out because, like, this whole Pentiment shit that everybody was trying to push, bro, point-and-click games is so fucking 80s and 90s, and they don't even know about fucking Harry and, the fucking rabbit and the dog. I can't remember their name right now, but, like, y'all don't even know shit about that game. But here y'all are trying to pump this up because this is, like, the only game y'all got this year, right? But we have all these other great games that are the same genre to an extent, right? Because when I first played Life is Strange, the way I felt about it, I'm like, this is kind of like, I would throw The Quarry, all of them in this same box too, right? It's like a point-and-click game, but 3D, right? Because the whole point is you're going to get a narrative, you're going to get a story, you're going to get a puzzle, and but you're not shooting something, throwing something. It's interactive at the minimum level. You know what I mean? But I don't see none of these people talking about any of these other great games. It's just this one fucking, like, they got Xbox had 2 slideshow games that came out, literally. This Pentiment was turning a page, and the other one was like a literal fucking slideshow. I don't remember the name of it. But I'm like, it's other games out there that could be getting spotlight that have better soundtrack, better music, better art, better style, better narrative, and it's getting overshadowed because people want a console war. Like, that's the sad thing. If anybody has not played Life is Strange, I 100% say, give it a try.
But are we going to buy Pentiment, don't you know?
Or play it.
Nah, I'm not.
I was told that I probably won't like it, so I probably won't play it.
I don't know why I would buy Pentiment when I could play any other point-and-click game from the 80s and 90s, because
They're usually, a lot of the older games are usually handled with more love and care. I don't care what nobody say. That's just what it is. It's what it is.
They're handled with more care. Because they had to deal with if that game came out, it flopped. Now you can do DLC, you can do patches, and development is a lot cheaper and easier than it was back then.
There was strong competition back then where you had to have a shtick. You had to have that shit, have something different. And going, yeah.
Right now, me, Puka, Savage, and what is it, Illicit Black? I'm sorry, I ain't got a good view of my phone right now. We could all get together, put together a project, and we can make a game and have this shit come out next year. That's not something that 4 dudes, states away, one of us in the middle of the ocean could fucking do 20 years ago, 14 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I would rather, if it's going to be that style of game, I would rather play an older game. And that's just me keeping it real.
Y'all niggas better than me. I can't play older games, yo. I
can. It's just like old Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, all that. I can still go play it.
Like when I used to go on vacation, I used to last year I went on like 4 different places, right? And I was on a plane, and I brought my Vita with me and played just PlayStation 1 games on there. I didn't have a problem with it. None.
Disgusting.
Disgusting.
You guys are disgusting. You guys sound like the backwards compatibility crowd. I hate you guys.
Well, look.
Let me tell you this.
Small soldiers.
Now, when it comes to backwards compatibility, this is what I'm gonna tell you, right? I am not crazy about it because I don't believe in pawning shit ever, right? So, like, I still have my PS1, 2, 3, and I got the 3 that plays 3 and below, so including PS2, right? I'm not tripping over backwards compatibility like that. Is it nice? Is it cool? I can emulate on my PC, so I'm not tripping anyway, right? But I do feel you. But what I don't feel you with, Puka, and I'm on your ass, respectfully, that shit you just said about Joel. Now, look, it's subjective, right? You're entitled to your opinion, and I respect you, and I respect your opinion. But, homie, my man's had his daughter die in his arms. That's one of the most traumatic deaths. The government literally killed his daughter, okay? Then he went through this rough life. He lost tests. This girl actually ends up being immune. She's breathing in spores. They had this bond over this 6-7 month journey that is not the world me and you know today, right? No radio, no TV, no Netflix, no hotels, no fast food. Like, they live in like the Wild Wild West, but in modern day America, bro. Like, of course he ended up having a bond that's similar. Like, she's like his pseudo daughter, right? Obviously, not years to grow and know each other, but that's his pseudo daughter. And then the shit the Fireflies did, practically it just made no sense.
It didn't.
If
It
she's
didn't.
if she's your only living, and I can tell you this, and so we can break it down in so many ways without even getting into professions of the medical field, right? If this is your only living specimen that is immune, that you know of, period, why the fuck is the first thing you're trying to do is kill her first fucking day she got there? Let's run some blood tests. Let's see if we can extract any other kind of fluids and work out a vaccine, or at the bare minimum, get something to combat the virus, anything.
They have like a regenerative human that could just if that didn't work with her blood, you could just continue to do it until you find something. So it didn't make any sense.
Man. And they did no test, they did no nothing. He was just like, yeah, we need to cut her open. We need to get this out of her, but it's on the brainstem. She might not survive. That, first off, if we would have let them do it, they was the bad guys before this, right? But if Joe would not have killed them and Ellie would have been dead, they would have still been the bad guys, because then the only living person who had to fucking cure the Fireflies just murdered by some doctor who just was a fucking hack and didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
Not only that, right? You can see shit on Twitter, right? Where somebody will say something. You know, we used to say some stupid ass shit, right? Back in the day, right? Right? And motherfuckers are scrolling 10 years. And I remember, what's his name? Guap, yo. He said some shit back in the day, right? On Twitter. And somebody just, they wanted to kind of fuck his name up, right? And he said some wild shit. And he did. He said some wild shit. But that ain't him anymore. So it's like, and you know what they said? And there's a reason why I'm saying this. You know what they said? They were like, yo, he needs to lose his job. I'm not going to save people like that. The fuck?
Yep.
Well, I save you doom humanity and nothing of value was lost. That's how I feel like. You got to prove to me, if you can survive that shit, you got to prove to me that you can survive that shit. And on top of it, how do we know, right? If they did get a cure from murdering a fucking 13-year-old, but if they did get a cure, right? How do we know if they wouldn't hoard that fucking cure out?
Exactly.
Absolutely not, man. Like, hey, anybody have a kid, yo, you're capping. Y'all capping.
Exactly. And that's why I'm like, anybody who thinks Joe did something wrong, because I think Joe did nothing wrong. Anybody who can confidently say he did something wrong is capping, because at the end of the day, there's so many things wrong with their plan. Okay, so the only specimen, right? Y'all got to remember, when creating a vaccine or any type of medical, like we're talking immunizations, we're talking vaccines, we're talking medical treatment, you need it to produce. If I'm going to go outside and grab an herb and smush it up and put it on your wound, if I just dug up all the motherfucking herbs, how am I going to do it anymore after we used up the last one? If I cut this shit on her fucking spine, what equipment, what do they have to continue to reproduce vials to save the fucking world? You just killed the only motherfucker that was producing what you needed in the first place. Through a fucking surgery. What? Let's just keep it a buck. The Fireflies didn't have the best equipment. They had better shit than you had.
Dirty ass shit, yo. That hospital was dirty. That hospital was dirty as shit, man.
So I don't blame Joe. He there like, man, this shit, I've been fighting these. Y'all couldn't even deliver her. I had to deliver her. And you telling me you about to cut her open? And possibly kill her? At
the very least, as much trouble as I went through for you to do that, and all you're giving me is weapons that you stole from me?
Yeah.
No.
Wasn't even yours. Y'all couldn't have said, hey, let's...
Like, when somebody... When people come at me and say that I'm just a hater of The Last of Us show, I always surprise them with the information that I have. I don't... Look, when I do my shit, yo, I make sure I'm on point. You ain't getting me with that shit, yo.
Yep. At the end of the day, and that's why I had to come in here with that heat when Puka said that. I was like, oh, yeah, he going crazy. Where I'm at with it is... Fireflies are in the wrong off jump, right? They got outdated equipment. They got an outdated hospital. They had poor communication. You can't come in and tell a man, like, hey, you just traveled across the country with this girl. You think she about to save the world because she's immune. She knows she's immune. Guess what? She ain't gonna know. Now you know. She's dying. Like, Ellie didn't even know this shit, bro. She didn't even know she was
And she didn't. She really didn't even know she was going to get sacrificed. They just said that you can help them out. And she's like, okay. And everybody's like, they retro, how do you say that shit again?
Retroactively decided.
Yo, they retroactively changed that fucking game up because all of a sudden she knew that she was going to fucking die. Come on, man. Like, and then she fought so hard to make Joe like her, only to want to die. There's so many holes to it. Like, let's not.
And that's why, like, here's what I will say in defense, right? Because she is a teenager, right? Boy, female, don't matter, right? She's a teenager. And teenagers will, when you feel like their decision has been taken away, how did you know I didn't want that? Mother, so you want to eat a shit sandwich? All right, let's go take the shit out the sewer so you get one of, like, people will say shit. My wife say shit like that. How you know I didn't want it? Motherfuckers, I know. You don't want some burnt shit. Like, come on now. Quit being stupid. Like, if I would have brought a burnt sandwich upstairs, you would have been pissed off. But that's how teenagers are, right? She felt like she was robbed of a decision. Like how a lot of people, they have that reaction. It's the same way her Abby is. In part 2, she's telling her dad, well, if it were me, I'd want you to do it. Well, it's not you, bitch, so you can't act like that.
You certainly can't, and it's not you, and you're not. It sounds good on paper. We all know.
Yeah, it sounds good on paper, but until you in that shoe, you really can't. You
be like, damn, I ain't gonna be able to save that same guy that she loves so hard, right? Her father. You're telling me she's willing to never see him again for the world? You gotta, man. Yeah. Look, I'm gonna tell you this, yo. I hate to make it sound political, right? But I've seen a story a couple of weeks ago. It was this young guy. He was, I think he was 19 in this video, right?
Yeah.
And he changed himself to a female, and then he did this when he was like 13, 14. And the parents allowed it. Right? And then he realized over the years, he was like, yo, I made a grave mistake and I can never go back. Like, young kids don't have no fucking idea.
They don't.
So let's not give a 13-year-old, like clearance to say that she wanted to give her soul, her body away for a cure. Let's not do that, because you wouldn't do it in any other fucking case.
Exactly. And I think that's what's so fucked up about it too, because if you really take a moment back and look at it, when you look at the story, the Fireflies, like I said, they're still the bad guys, because Ellie didn't have a chance to make a choice being a kid, period, right? Whether she's a kid, teenager or not, she didn't even have the freedom to make that choice, right? Joe didn't have the time to comprehend, come to terms with it, come to peace with it. He didn't get to have that last moment with her, nothing. They were just rushing into a surgery. They didn't let her rest, get hydrated. They didn't let her get into good health and condition. There's so many things that's wrong with the plan that they had. And then her reaction to it is a little bit unfair, but I get it. But you can kind of argue both sides, right? Joe didn't have the time to communicate shit with them. So how you gonna tell her the truth when it's not like y'all really had it? It ain't like they said, hey, Ellie, check it out. You're immune, so this is what we're gonna try to do. And then at least in that point, you got a time to brainstorm. Like, do y'all want to run a blood test? Y'all want to do something, right? Anything, right?
No, immediately in the hospital. Immediately
went to it. So on one hand, it's like, I get Ellie being upset because, well, what if I wanted my life to have meaning? But then at the same time, bitch, you didn't even know it was happening. You don't know if it would have worked. You probably would have just been dead. They didn't give you that chance. So you should kind of be mad at them, because it's not like they really gave y'all a level playing field for this shit to play out in a certain way. And if they had done any type of proper protocol, they wouldn't have got slaughtered the way they did in the first place. If they would have got Joel and Ellie in, fed them, get you clean, let's get you healthy, let's make sure you're good, before even trying to do a procedure with her, he would not have had weapons, he would not have had shit. He wouldn't have been able to do everything he fucking did, because he would have been in a complacent environment. You see what I'm saying?
And I like how they try to make you like sympathize with Abby, but Abby is like literally murdering somebody like that. I'm like, man, you get like the developers try to do that shit. They try to make you empathize with them. I'm like, yeah, you out of your fucking mind. Not only that, but it didn't even make sense. They gaslit you, the developers actually, into trying to like that character that they created.
Yeah.
They made her big as shit, right? Only for her to use a weapon anyway.
Yep. I think that with The Last of Us Part 2, I do not think, and I think this is subjective anyway, right? Because it depends on how people absorb the content you're playing or watching, right? But I do not think that the goal was for us to like Abby. I think it was just for us, yes, you're forced to see her perspective, and I think that right there, whenever someone's like, look at my side of the story, people are like, oh, you're trying to get me to agree with you, right? That's kind of like the first instinct that a lot of people have. Oh, you want me to see your side of the story? You want me to take your side? No, it's just getting that perspective. And it is forced on us, which sucks when you just saw this character kill your favorite fucking character. You get what I'm saying? Nobody wants to play as the character who kills your favorite character. If that would have been something saved up for like maybe the end of the game, maybe it would have went over a little bit easier, but the first 20 minutes, Joel fucking dies. Who really wants to play with this bitch? I don't think anybody.
Who really want to play? Who really want to play in general? Who really want to play in general after you see that shit, yo? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if Metal Gear Solid, right? If Snake just dies, you be like, really don't want to play this, honestly.
That's what happened in Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yeah, well, at least he didn't die. At least he didn't die.
He thought he did.
But then they smoothed it over with a guy from the naval seal, and he sounds just like Snake and shit like that. So you was like, okay, I see what happened.
It was a quick turnaround. But,
but like the whole thing is, you got this girl that is brought, and she didn't even do it in a humane way, and then he actually, you know what else was salty about it? He literally saved her fucking life. And you still was like, I'm still going to beat the shit out of you with a golf club. Like, she is a very unlikable character.
She's a very, and I think that's where I argue. I don't want to say argue. That's where my opinion is different from others, because I don't think their goal was for us to like Abby. I think it was like, hey, you're going to see this perspective of this person, and you're rather going to like, hate, or sympathize with her. You're going to have that freedom to choose, but not the freedom to choose to play with her. Because as you play with Abby, everything about her character is completely selfish. Everything about her character is completely horrible. I did not sympathize with her at all. I was ready for her to die. First things first, she was so obsessed with getting revenge, she neglected every other relationship in her life, including her friends' health and betterment. She got a lot of people killed with her obsession, right? Two, when she did finally move on from a relationship and got that revenge that she continued to guilt trip this man into while he had a child on the way, she was then still trying to flirt and then eventually fucked this man who was married and had a child on the way. Not to mention all the gaslighting and manipulative shit that she said when her own father was contemplating the fact that he was going to kill a child the same age as her daughter. Oh, well, if it were me, I would want you to do it. Abby, in general and wholeheartedly, is a selfish, entitled, unintelligent character. And she's a piece of shit. Through and through. And I feel like that was the whole point, was showing, like, this is a horrible fucking person. Not that, oh, yeah, Joel is a bad person because he took away a dad. No, that dad raised a piece of shit. And he died a piece of shit trying to make a piece of shit decision. And that's what that game showed me. As an adult, as a grown man who's made my own decisions my whole life, being forced to play as Abby and see her side of the story, the only thing that did, I didn't feel bad for her. I didn't even feel like the game wanted me to feel bad for her. It just showed me how much of a piece of shit she was, and that I was not going to feel bad when I killed her at the end of the game. But now I was mad because I didn't get to kill her. But at the same time, her end was fucked up. She got in prison. She got all type of fucked up shit happen to her. It's implied worse shit happened. I'm going to call it even, right? I don't like Dana. Dana kind of pissed me off. Some of Ellie's friends pissed me off with some of their decisions, but everything about, I don't think The Last of Us Part 2 tried to make us feel sympathy for. I feel like they gave us an unfiltered view, and I hate that bitch. Everything about Abby is disgusting. The way she did, it wasn't that girl's name, Mel?
Yeah, Mel. Yeah.
It was Mel, right?
Even she didn't like her. She was like, "You're a bitch."
Yeah. I think it's because she's one of the few characters on Abby's side who saw through her bullshit. I think that's what it was. She was one of the few people who saw through it, right?
And then she tried to smooth it over with the fucking the Lev character or whatever the case is. Mm-hmm. You know, I want to save somebody. No, bitch, don't try to fix it. No. Use a fucked up, selfish person.
You a fucked up person. Don't try to turn around and act like, oh, this is a little girl who wants to be a boy and they're in trouble and no, like, nah, get the fuck out of here. You ain't a good person. You're trying to save face because you're guilty after all the shit you done did. Now you want to have a conscience, because that's the funny thing. I'm glad you brought that up too. She want to have a conscience after you done killed a man who just saved your life, right? which I ain't even gonna talk about the sequence of events that led to Joel's death. That shit was just stupid. But you still killed the man. Then you beat him a slow, painful death. Bitch, he killed your dad fast. That was unnecessary. After killing him, getting all your friends killed, fucking your so-called one of your best friends' husband, now you have a conscience and you want to save these scars you done brutalized for fucking years. Now you got a conscience. This is the this is the turning point.
That whole regime of people, man. I didn't feel. I'm like, what? You know, that was the problem. I don't know what the developer was trying to do, but I'm like, bro, I don't want to play with these fucking people. I don't even like them. I don't like them. Like in general, it's not even about like if the Joe situation didn't happen, they have no redeeming qualities at all for me to like them. They're not funny. They did horrible things. At least Joel was like, damn, I could see why he's hardened because he literally, the government literally killed his daughter.
He lived through the downfall. He went from straight up civilization to the collapse of civilization to corrupt military to he went through the fucking ringer. And these motherfuckers just grew up in the pandemic. They just grew up in the new life. Like, that's why I'm like, I won't sit here and act like everything Joel did was justified, but...
No, it's not. It's not, though, but here's the thing, right? When we were going through our own little pandemic, when I was looking for fucking toilet paper, man, I couldn't find it. You want to know why? Because the same people that you want me to sympathize with, regular, everyday fucking people, right, hoarded the whole fucking toilet paper.
I remember...
And Lysol and everything the fuck else. They didn't care about me. Absolutely not. I wouldn't care about them like that. Nope. It's me and my own family and my own friends, like any other fucking human. That's just what it is.
I didn't have to deal with it like you had to deal with it and a lot of other folks, thankfully. But what I will tell you is this. I remember reading about a lot of stories like that, and it kind of pissed me off because, one, toilet paper wasn't even going to prevent how the shit was spread. Like, when you look at all the early reports, I don't know why the fuck people thought they needed to hoard toilet paper.
They thought they were going to stay in the house. They just, like, it was weird.
Yeah,
they just went, I want to stay in the house.
Buying pallets of fucking toilet paper from Kroger's and Walmart. And then you had the dude who bought all that hand sanitizer, and then he was trying to resell it.
Oh, I went to the CVS, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the lady. She had like 4 of them in her cart, right? And I was like, oh, they have them. They stocked up. And she looked at me, and was like, no. Turns out that she was a fucking employee.
Wow.
Talking about something save the world. Get the hell out of here. Man.
The world don't give a fuck about us. Like, the world don't give a fuck about us right now. What make you think they'll give a fuck about us when it's a pandemic?
Especially the pandemic.
And I'm not saying that's a reason to be cold-hearted and not care about people, because, put it like this, I'm just not about to be a hero, but I am still going to be a good guy. At the end of the fucking day, there's too many people who don't give a fuck about us, showing us they don't give a fuck about us. I'm not about to have sympathy for people that's just going to be selfish. Take what you need, but ultimately your goal should be to be some form of self-sufficient, right? As of today, you should have a method of starting a fire, cooking, grilling, fishing, etc. Because then if shit hits the fan, some of your most basic needs, at least some of them you can do. Maybe not running water, right? Obviously, you ain't got a fucking machine to make toilet paper, right? But, like, you should have some type of method to do some of your basic necessities.
No, I'm gonna tell you right. I'm gonna tell you right now, man. I got a stream near my house. I'll dip my ass in that fucking stream and keep it moving.
You fucking got it. You fucking got it. That's the whole point, right? You got a stream. You probably got a place where you can go fish. If you got blades and some type of sharpening, hey, look, motherfucker, you got a grill. Cook you some motherfucking fish. Wash your ass in the stream. It ain't that hard, right? If you can catch rainwater, you got another way of getting water to drink. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
you boil that shit. Did you see like, not to bring this shit up in there, yo, but they were talking about some they were asking like some woman that was like feminist and shit like that, yo. They was like, yo, do you know what to do if you know what I mean? If you lost, what do you call it? Like if it was just one person or whatever the case is. I mean, I'm sorry, if you were on an island or if the infrastructure went down, there's like, where would you go get water? This chick was like, I will get it from the beach. The beach?
She'll die a slow and confusing death.
Slow and confusing.
She was like, I don't understand. It was like, you gotta boil that shit. She was like, yeah, if I boil it, bitch, you gonna have hot ass salt water.
Yeah, you just
you can't boil it.
Salt. You can't just boil.
Can't do
If we could just boil salt water, we would not be. Jesus Christ, people really don't think. This is why I miss the Great Lakes though, because you know I didn't have to worry about that with the Great Lakes anyway. People are just some of the shit people say, and it makes you wonder, like, how did you grow up around saltwater your entire life, and your first idea was you were gonna go, bitch, if you don't go up to the mountains and get the mountain water, like, oh my god, like it's not. Bro, I can walk up a mountain right now and find one of this. Never mind. It blows my fucking mind, bro. Like, some of the shit that people say, man. But, yeah, on the whole save the world thing, bro, I'm never against it, and I'm always team do the best you can to make the best outcome toward a solution. But it's a certain level of self-sacrifice that I'm not going to do if no one else is trying. It's just like a regular relationship or any marriage. You can't do more than 50% of the work 100% of the time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
With The Last of Us, obviously the Fireflies weren't really trying to save the world. They didn't put in a lot of fucking effort. Joel carried that entire mission, period, on his back to get Ellie across the motherfucking country. To get
his own weapons back and shit like that. And he was going to quit a lot of times. And he had a love for that test chick, man. I'm like, damn, man.
Yep, and then to add insult to injury, all that time, they didn't do more research, more studying. I mean, if y'all start getting into any medical science whatsoever, you would learn very early into your studies just how flawed his plan is. And that's the only thing I can say.
But people are like, but you know what they'll do? They be like, it's just a video game. Why you got to bring it like that? Well, I'm like, well, I mean, then why are you making it up? I'm like, y'all making it so serious right now, yo. I'm just telling you, I'm explaining to you why I don't like it. You don't like it because you're a bigot. I'm like,
yep, there it is. And you know what I find funny, though, is they try to say why you try to make it so serious, so deep, because I'll tell you right now, with Twitter, you'll meet a lot of people like that. They pick and choose because it's going to suit their argument when they pick and choose. The Last of Us has the same technology, education, and modern civilization that we had up until that time that the pandemic started. If y'all go look, and y'all may not remember this, right? But I've been on this app since like 2008, okay? A lot of the coffee shops, tea shops, and restaurants that you can see inside of The Last of Us, they were putting tweets out when the pandemic, like, within the time frame of The Last of Us, and those tweets should still be up. They even had the hospitals like, oh, we're overstaffed, the sickness, illness, yada, 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 right? But it was all the fictional companies and organizations that exist within The Last of Us universe. That's implying they have Twitter, so if we are one-to-one the technology as of, let's just say, 2012, there's no excuse for them to have tried to do what they tried to do to Ellie when they got her.
Yeah, it was absolutely savage to do something. They already knew that it didn't make sense altogether. That's just the bottom line. It's just it didn't make sense because we wouldn't have done that. What they were doing is stuff that they would have tried to do in the 1700s.
Exactly. And Naughty Dog knows that. And that's why I think none of this, like when a lot of people, that's why I say going back to the first game to the second game, right? Not just the second, but looking at the first and the second. You hear the way Joel talks about the Fireflies. He left the Fireflies for a fucking reason, right? At the end of the goddamn day, they full of shit. They're a bunch of people who don't know what they're doing. Basically some extremists. They were full of shit. And
sound like Twitter.
And when it boils, you know. Oh, go ahead.
My bad. I'm sorry.
No,
as far as the story goes.
Oh, my bad.
You know how I heard y'all earlier. Y'all were talking about, Ellie didn't know she was going to be sacrificed, and they straight up flipped it in the second one, saying that she did know and she wanted.
She was just guilt tripping.
Well, like they wanted to make a political statement. My body, my choice.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
That's. I'm fall back. That's all I got to say. That's what it was. I'm sorry. Neil Druckmann, he got in there with that. What's that chick's name?
Anita Sarkeesian.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll agree with you. They could have got. I can agree with that being like an agenda, but I do believe it was just more of without easily, without getting political or anything like that, I think it was just a lot of that teenage bullshit, right?
Yeah.
I feel like you took a choice from me. What if I wanted this? Bitch, you didn't. Stop acting. Stop.
Oh, no. Like, I get it. This was like, here's the thing, right? Naughty Dog knew they fucked up. Whatever was going on internally, and this is why we don't have multiplayer with this game, because they lost a lot of people. Whatever kind of work environment that they had going on, and I'm not talking about crunch either. There was something that was going on within Naughty Dog that people was not liking that shit, man.
I can see that.
You know.
Then again, like I said, I'm just.
You ain't trying to make it. Yeah, you ain't trying to make it like.
I can't speak on a lot of the political shit because I don't know. I didn't follow that. I was just speaking just more of a consumer portion of the story, right? Because to me, I'm just more like, there's a lot of different ways you can take something, and I feel like with the Ellie thing, it's a lot of different ways you can take it. You can feel like they representing my body, my choice. You can feel like they representing teenage angst. You can feel like it was just bad writing. It's just a lot.
I think it's honestly, I think it's all of the above. I don't think that the person that helped Neil write that story, he left Naughty Dog at the turn of Uncharted 4. You know what I mean? The dude named Bruce.
I haven't followed it that deep.
I followed it because my other YouTube channel actually got like shadow banned because of that. I got like it was an early, like, this is back like almost 4 years ago when Death Stranding came out and no one knew what Death Stranding was. I went on 4chan and read some of the reviews and made like a non-spoiler, like what people were saying about it type video, and people appreciated it. It got a decent amount of traction. I was like, okay, cool. The same thing. I was driving home. My cousin hit me up. He was like, bro, they saying some wild shit about like The Last of Us. And I read that shit. I was like, oh, they said that there's a transgender in there. They said that Joe gets his head bashed open. I said, oh no, let me read this shit and make sure. Then they had pictures backing that shit up. I was like, oh snap. And she looked like a transgender person because we don't normally see no bodybuilder woman. And it was like, it didn't make any sense there either because.
I see them, but.
Huh?
I see them.
I'm talking about pandemic where people are starving.
Oh, I got you.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm not talking about.
She was on her Chris Redfield levels of revenge, bro. Chicken and push-ups.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, yo. They have to fucking allocate food for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So you told she was eating all them fucking zebras and burritos?
Bro, she was eating all them chickens, bro. Chickens are, you know what's crazy? So here's the one thing I'm going to say. After being here on this island, bro, I've never.
Where are you at?
Like, Hawaii.
Okay. Cool.
I've never. So here's something, right? There are no squirrels here. Okay, that was like the first thing. No one told me that until after I got here, and then I started. It was like the first or second week I was here, and I was like, "Yo, nigga, y'all wasn't playing. There really ain't no squirrels on this fucking island, like at all. They got like these little mongrel-looking things with sharp teeth. They cute, but it's not a squirrel. Fucking me up, right? But no, bro, it is chickens fucking everywhere, bro. Like, I have never.
It remind me of Florida, yo.
Oh my god, like I have never seen so many chickens in my fucking life. Like, I was thinking, like, yo, if this island ever like went down, like, we good on food, bro. Like, you walk up the street and you will literally walk by 50 different chickens, fucking roosters. You hear these motherfuckers at 6 o'clock in the morning everywhere you go, bro. Go to military bases, it don't fucking matter. Go sit down and eat. I done posted videos here where I was feeding like a little bit of chicken, some of my fries and shit. I had like 40 of them by the fucking table, bro. Like, no cap, at least.
Just out in the wild?
Just walking around, bro. Just around everybody.
If you go to Florida, it's like that too, especially near Miami, yo. They walking around. They have squirrels, but their squirrels are like if you live on the continental United States and on the East Coast or South or East or West Coast, you see those squirrels there. They have chickens like you guys have squirrels just walking across the street and shit like that. Just casually. Like, I'm like, what in the world? And they don't even fly. They lazy as shit. Yo, they just be walking.
Like, the one of the few times I seen one fly was when I scared it by mistake.
Yeah, but they do a little bit. They do a little bit of flap.
Yeah, motherfucker flew and hit me in the back of the hit me in the back, bro. But that's because I spooked his ass. I threw some shit in the dump, so I didn't even know they was over there, and they all got the scurrying out and shit. But there's chickens everywhere, so knowing that chickens are some of the easiest animals, not easiest, right? But I would say still one of the easier ones. They can have them reproduce, make eggs, etc. I can see her maintaining some gains through chicken, through fish, through whatever GNC she looted up before as the fall happened, right? A lot of malls out there still have some healthy shit that motherfuckers was probably not go take, except a couple bodybuilders, right? I can see it. I can see it because she ain't that big. She big, but she ain't that big. You know what I mean? She still.
They actually made her bigger in the what do you call it?
Final.
In the final game. She was not like that.
Yeah. She wasn't that big in that trailer we saw.
Nah.
Yeah, she wasn't. But I that's all I'm going to say, because I've seen so many chickens. It's possible, because I thought that to myself a few times. I'm like, yo, if we had like a zombie apocalypse right now, nigga, we having chicken nuggets every day.
I mean, to be honest with you, yo, I'll be fucking up them squirrels too, yo. Don't get it fucked up, yo. Them squirrels will be 8. I'm just saying, those squirrels will be all the way 8.
Bro, I'm saying I'm eating squirrel too. But them, yeah, it's so.
If I need to, man, like y'all better, motherfuckers better know how to cook.
Wild pig too, like wild boar and wild pig.
Yeah,
bro,
you can't fuck with them, yo. They'll fuck you up.
It's so many pigs here too, man. Like I'm telling you, just man, I got a bow behind me right now. Go out here and grab a fucking boar. Like, man, I can see people getting their gains in like the Last of Us style pandemic. I can kind of see it.
They had zebras. From what I understand, I think they say in the story they were eating zebras instead of like, that's what I.
They were eating all kind of shit because everything just kind of got in the wild and adapted. And America is like the United States is such an adaptive piece of land. Animals can migrate, and when they can migrate and they can move freely, they will survive. If it's too cold, move south. If it's too hot, move north. Like,
Point blank.
Hey, fellas, I just got to the crib. I'm about to do my daddy stuff and put these babies to bed.
Yeah, I'm about to end this space, man. I really appreciate everybody that came in there and sat around and had a genuine gaming conversation. Really appreciate that shit.
Say what's up. I'm sad Puka left because
he didn't want to hear it, yo. He didn't want to hear the truth.
But I had to come in and chop it up. I had just got done on the grill cooking up some burgers, some chicken. That chicken came out fucking amazing, but I just had to hop in and chop it up on some games a little bit.
All right, y'all.
Hey man, y'all stay blessed, man. Sad that you stay up, man. I'm gonna show you some more HP stuff when I get it, bro.
Yes, sir. Please do.
I'm on the hunt for another, like, official lamb. But you know what the hard thing is?
What's that?
Is you really can't get your hands on a Mark 23 SOCOM, but you can get your hands on a USP, which is obviously that's the superior model of the Mark 23, right?
Right.
But most of the lambs that people have like some type of design for are for the old Mark 23s because that screw goes right into where the trigger rest is. So it's man.